What is up, YouTube? It is Mr. Ferguson back once again here in Central North Carolina. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and for tuning in today to talk about a subject I think most of us are interested in at this point in summer, which is fall overseeding. We're going to jump into that topic here in just a second. I just want to remind you, like the video if you enjoy this lawn care topic video. It keeps me motivated to keep putting them out because you keep liking them and you keep commenting, and it helps me. So for no other reason, like the video for me, but it does help it get out to other people interested in lawn care topics, specifically as we're dealing with here in Central North Carolina with tall fescue that's looking a little rough right now. Also, in the description of this video, I will have some of the products. I wanted to also mention before we jump into overseeding, I'll have this Flow Zone, the Cyclone, the Typhoon. I've got the azoxystrobin. I just got finished putting down an application of azoxystrobin. As you guys know, on Friday's video, we talked about what NC State gave us information on. High temps above 86 degrees. Our fungicides are only lasting for about 14 days tops. When temperatures are 72 degrees or warmer overnight, fungus is coming in our lawn. A lot of key information that I have to go back and watch that. That's why I like to record it, because they are experts at this stuff, not myself. And so anyway, so I put down another application in this cool. We've had these cool temps hit us here in North Carolina, which has been just amazing. 80, 81 degrees, low humidity. My cousin I talked to in West Virginia said it was in the 70s. They just got back from Florida where it was 100. They get to West Virginia, it was in the 70s. It's just been an amazing cool down, and hopefully it'll stay for a while. We do have some rain on the way, so I wanted to let this set on the blade and begin to attack maybe the gray leaf spot we could be seeing in my lawn. But point being, if you're looking to gear up for fall overseeding, for fall, if you're doing Tenacity with your seed, you will need a sprayer. Flow Zone is great. This has been the best backpack sprayer I've used out of the 3 that I've tried. We also have fungicides. If you're dealing with fescue, you need to put that medicine down to control disease. That's one of the downsides of having cool season grass, is we got to deal with fungus. And so make sure you're stocked up on propiconazole, azoxystrobin, as we talked about Friday. NC State, that is one of the best combos to fight diseases. So with that said, I want to get into the topic of, you know, fall overseeding once again. There's a lot to fall overseeding. And the one thing that I want to talk about is, you know, the process. I know a lot of people said, we talked about pre-emergent versus, you know, do you need to overseed? Sometimes if we have a good summer, we don't get hit with a lot of disease. We get a lot of rain in the summer. We keep a lot of our fescue, even though it may go dormant, even though it may not stay green, if it's still there, it's still thick, we may not need to overseed. And we talked about that on a previous video, so go check that out if you're wondering, should I overseed, should I do pre-emergent because I got a POA issue, what should I do? Go check that out. If you've decided to do overseeding, then one of the things I want to talk about is Tenacity. You know, why do we put down Tenacity? Well, Tenacity is a special, I've got several videos on it. Check out the pre-emergent playlist. Tenacity is in there. But Tenacity is a double agent. It is a post-emergence herbicide, and it's a pre-emergent herbicide, and we use it for these qualities during overseeding when it's time. You know, we've talked about how I'm going to be I'm going to aerate, but I'm also going to be dethatching the lawn. What is dethatching? Dethatching is removing the dead. You know, it's a little scraper basically that's electric, and it just grabs the dead from the ground and pulls it to the top, and then we kind of sweep it off with a mower or with a rake, and we get it out. We're extracting all of the dead the best that we can. We cut the lawn low, we extract the dead, we get it out, then we aerate. We're punching holes in the ground to loosen compaction, and now on top of that, we like to put down our seed, and then many times we're using liquid, because Tenacity, as far as I know, is not in a granular. You would need a backpack sprayer. That's why we have these in the description of the video. Backpack sprayer is necessary. You can get smaller ones that are 2 gallons, or you can get something like a 4 gallon. I have 8,000 square feet, so I like 4 gallon. It makes it easier. But with Tenacity, it can prevent weeds from coming up with your grass seed. That's why people are doing it. It's also called MESO, M-E-S-O. Mesostrone, don't quote me on that. I'm terrible with the names, but it doesn't have to be the Tenacity brand. It could be MESO as well. You can find that on Amazon. You can find that in the link below. But when our grass seed begins to germinate and grow in our lawn, if we put down Tenacity at the time of seeding, it is safe to put on top of the grass seed. You will not kill your grass seed. You also will not prevent your grass seed from coming up. It doesn't do that. But Tenacity will prevent some weeds from growing up with the grass. However, one of the downsides of that is a couple. Number one, your grass seed is going to come up with a tingy white color. Your existing grass may extract a white color. It messes with the chlorophyll of the plant. So your grass looks this funky, pre-October Halloween white can appear on your grass for, what, 3 weeks, guys, or something like that? So there is downsides. The second downside is once you decide to put down Tenacity, you know, the pre-emergent qualities, don't quote me on this. I was looking on the label. I didn't find it before I walked out. I want to say at tops, it's like 14 to 21 days. I can't remember what the number is. Somebody in the comments list it specifically for somebody that may be interested in that. But once that pre-emergent qualities of Tenacity runs out, you can't, with new seed, just turn around and put down Tenacity. You will stun baby grass if you turn around and do your second application of Tenacity. So when people say, well, Mr. Ferguson, I use Tenacity as my pre-emergent and I put down baby seed, well, what you're supposed to do according to the label, and I wouldn't try this, is a couple things. Number one, if you put down Tenacity at time of seeding, totally fine, no problem with that. You're good to do that. It is not going to hurt your seed. It's going to stop weeds from coming up with the good grass seed. And then as we go on between 14, 21 days, you know that date, you got to find out what that is. I'm not sure what that is, but 14 to 21 days, you want to turn around, and the idea is, well, let me put down another layer of pre-emergent of Tenacity, right, to protect that grass that grows. But you can hurt the grass, that the baby grass that is only now 14 days old, because that's when the pre-emergent runs out. If you spray it again, especially those with fine fescue, if you do a mix with fine fescue, the label in Tenacity specifically says it will thin out that fine fescue, and it will make it thin, and it can hurt fine fescue and even kill it. So don't apply Tenacity to fine fescue regardless. But with tall fescue, you then have to wait for that grass to get a little bit more mature. 2 mows, once you mow it twice, then you can turn around and do Tenacity. So basically, you have a window there between the first 14 to 21 days you've applied Tenacity to letting that grass mature, mowing it twice. Now it's mature enough to handle another shot of Tenacity. There is a window there, well, where Poa annua can germinate, and you may not eliminate it. So that's the downside. But you can also skip Tenacity. I don't know why you would do this, but you can skip Tenacity at the beginning, wait for your grass seed to grow, and then start your applications after and have them back to back to back and do it that. But during that seeding process, that is your window where Poa annua will be growing. So that's the difficulty with people that trying to stop Poa or having a Poa issue. My encouragement is try it a year. Skip overseeding for 1 year and say, okay, I've got a decently thick lawn. Like mine in the backyard here looks pretty decent. Like this is pretty close to me saying I don't need to overseed this year. And I really don't, I could get away with it. And you can also do spot seeding. You could also turn around, as someone correctly said in the comments, instead of overseeding, you could do a pre-emergent everywhere in your lawn. And then if I have sections like what you guys are seeing right here in my corner, I've applied pre-emergent here. I need to break up the pre-emergent with a tool, you know what I'm talking about, the garden weasel or whatever. Break it up in these sections right here. Mark it off with maybe a grass paint like Pete uses all the time. Even large sections, you would have to break up the pre-emergent, seed, and you can do it that way. While the majority of your lawn is pre-emergent protected, this section will not be. It will be susceptible for Poa annua because you've broken your pre-emergent, but you can seed in spot areas. There's a little frog here. Get out of here, little guy. And same thing with other areas in your lawn. That is another option you can do. I did that the other year. When I did my pre-emergent, I spot seeded in certain areas. So that is true as well. So keep that in mind. Get a game plan together. What I would hate for you to do is to spend all this money on a seed mix and all this, and then you're just doing 3 apps of Tenacity back to back to back, and you're hurting your own turf and you don't even know it. You're like, oh crap, I thought I got. It's very difficult. I would be cautious about it. This year, I actually think I'm going to wait a couple days after seeding. I'm going to water my seed. I'm not going to do fertilizer. I may do the Tenacity after seeding and wait a couple days and then do my fertilizer like we discussed last year or previous years to see if that helps with the existing grass not outpacing the baby grass so much. So we may talk about that. I still don't know what starter fert or what fertilizer I'm going to use on the big day. So stay tuned for that. But I just wanted to bring this up. Just some more helpful tips to get stuck in your dome here to think about as we get closer to the day that you're going to overseed. Let's be careful about this, but especially fine fescue. If you're doing fine fescue in like these shady areas under the tree and you're like, well, I don't care what Mr. Ferguson does, I know that fine fescue will be great. Don't don't spray that. You got to be careful, and you got to remind yourself, if you plant that back here or a mix with fine fescue in it, the Tenacity will harm fine fescue. It says it on the label. Go check it out, go read it. But I wanted to talk about Tenacity overseeding as well, and the option of, yes, you can pre-emergent and spot seed by breaking up the barrier of the pre-emergent and spot seeding local areas. You can do that. And again, in the description of this video, we got Flow Zone backpack sprayers, we got fungicides, we'll have Tenacity down there. So stay tuned. So I'm gearing up for summer just like you guys, getting ready to aerate, getting ready to do those things. God bless you guys. We'll see you next time.